Hello, everyone, and welcome to 3Y TV, the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast. Monday Night Thunder comes to Nashville Fairgrounds for some short track action here tonight in the trucks. I'm Peter Short, and joining me in the booth is none other than Mr. Garrett Gleason. And Garrett, going to be a lot of fun here tonight. Short track action here for 180 laps.
Peter, I'm excited to be at a short track, excited to be at Nashville Fairgrounds, and if you watched our race last week, Nick Chambron's truck already looked like it did a short track race, and he ended up winning that race at Talladega. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot of trucks with that amount of damage this week, and it's going to be about survival, and I can't wait to get it started, buddy.
Yeah, definitely going to be a lot of fun here tonight on the channel. Thanks for tuning in here tonight, folks. As we got about 2.5 minutes left in this practice session before we move over into qualifying. Garrett is the only one in the chat so far saying, hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, and we do hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving here at 3Y TV. And hopefully you're not still in a turkey coma or whatever you ate on Turkey Day this year in the United States, but hopefully you can just sit back, relax, and watch the race here tonight. In fact, I'm curious to know, did anyone watch 3Y TV on Thanksgiving? Maybe you put it on the big screen while eating turkey, and the off chance you weren't watching the Cowboys lose, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, Garrett, we are in for a great race here tonight. Only 2 races left in the championship. And here on the short track, the high banks here, we could see the championship not necessarily decided here tonight, but major championship implications could happen tonight.
Absolutely, Peter. It's only going to take one incident to knock somebody out of the championship hunt here. We have Bill Edwards coming into this race as our championship leader with Mitchell Adams right behind him. And guys like Nick Chambron, John Cannizzaro, who had good runs last week as far as points go, are right there. And if one of these guys gets caught up in a mess, they will capitalize and perhaps get out of here first or second in points.
Yeah, that is for sure. So for everyone keeping track at home, Bill Edwards is our points leader by just 9 points over Mitchell Adams. So things could very much change here tonight. And then last week's race winner, 2 consecutive podiums for Nick Chambron. He's only 16 points behind your points leader in Bill Edwards. So Nick Chambron will be a driver that we can hopefully keep our eyes on here tonight. Currently 11th of the drivers in this particular practice session. But then behind Chambron, John Cannizzaro sits tied with Mike Tellier for 4th position in points. 182 points is where they sit. They are 27 points each behind Bill Edwards. So they are long shots, I would say, at this point, Garrett, to walk away with the series title with only 2 races left here tonight. But of course, tonight we do have the Signarama of Hollywood, Florida. Yeah, not Hollywood, California. No, Hollywood, Florida, which is just north of Miami. I know it very well. That's where I honeymooned back in the day at the beautiful Margaritaville resort that they have there. But great job by Signarama jumping on board, sponsoring another race. And if you need a sign made, they are the place to check out. As you see the checkered flag now falling on this particular practice session. So we'll move over into qualifying here tonight. And qualifying might be important. Let's kind of jump over to the qualifying topic here, Garrett, because it's short track. Track position could be very much key here tonight for all these drivers.
Yeah, Peter, track position definitely important here at a short track, and especially, like we said, 2 races left in the season. You want to be up front. You want to be able to be in front of the mess, and especially with a track as short as this, lap traffic will come into play, and the further up front you are, in your mind, the less likely you are to get caught up in an accident. But as we've seen so far this season, that's certainly not always the case. It could be unpredictable. An accident can happen anywhere. It's just about putting yourself in the best position, and for a lot of these guys, starting up front is that strategy.
So this driver right here, he wants to start up at the front of the field. That is your points leader, Bill Edwards, in his Silent Syndicate Racing Chevy Silverado. Comes out of turn number 4 to complete his first lap. He will jump to the 7th spot on the board. Meanwhile, Nick Chambron, who's 3rd position in points, he's actually 2nd position on the board right now. Separating those 2 in the point standings is none other than Mitchell Adams. And Garrett, I believe that Mitchell Adams, was he not going to make it here tonight? I think he called for a provisional And so that is going to be a big hit to Mitchell Adams's possibility of getting a championship.
It's a big hit on Mitchell Adams' front. I mean, obviously this time of year, Peter, people have obligations, priorities as far as family goes, school goes. That stuff happens. Hopefully the provisional helps him remain in the championship hunt for next week. And I think secretly, Peter, he's probably rooting for some of these guys to not have their best runs tonight. If these guys get in some trouble, maybe have a 10th place finish, that's only going to help his chances next week when we get to Homestead.
Yeah, so Garrett, for people who don't understand what a provisional is, why don't you explain to the viewers what a provisional is, how drivers still get points with a provisional, and how many points they get?
Okay, Peter, so for us old-time racers, in NASCAR Racing 2003 season, we used to call it last place points, and that's essentially what our total nonstop racing provisional system is. If by some chance you cannot make an event for whatever reason, we have our Discord set up. You could come in, you could say, I'd like a provisional for this race. Now, depending on how many drivers show up for each race, the provisional points will be equal to last place of that race. So if last place was worth 20 points, you would get 20 points. If there's 35 drivers and last place is worth 5 points, then you're only getting 5 points. So in that case, there's probably some adjustments we can make to the provisional series. I know a couple of guys have suggested that. So like, as far as tonight goes, Mitchell Adams will be scored as the last place finisher, and anyone else who requested the provisional will also be scored in last place. So the difference in points will be the difference between Mitchell as the last car and where everyone else finishes that he's chasing.
So that is why Mitchell Adams is hoping for a bad night with Bill Edwards and Nick Chambrone, among others. Mike Floppy Tellier, 4th place in points, fastest of all so far here in the qualifying shootout here. And of course, we do have the butt kicker challenge in effect here tonight. If Mike Floppy Tellier is able to hold on to the pole, he will have an opportunity, I should say, to drop to the tail end of the field. And if he's able to race his way back up through the field and get a podium, he will get some extra money courtesy of our friends over at Butt Kicker, www.thebuttkicker.com. And I'll tell you what, folks, if you have not checked out thebuttkicker.com before, not only is it an awesome product, but they have a Black Friday sale going on right now. 15% off the entire store on thebuttkicker.com. If you have a sim rig and you want to get yourself a little bit more immersed onto the virtual racetrack, the Butt Kicker is the place to go. It allows you to feel the rumble, feel the bumps all through your racing chair, and the Butt Kicker Challenge giving out some extra money to drivers who participate and are able to beat the Butt Kicker Challenge so far this season. We saw it happen in the last race in where Nick Chambrone was able to go to victory lane at Talladega. But of course, we do have a lot on the line here over the next couple of weeks for the championship. Here is the Signarama number 24 machine driven by Fernando Matos. So we got a couple of Signarama trucks in the Signarama of Hollywood 125 here tonight. Of course, one of those is Fernando Matos, who's 15th position on the board. Also in a Signarama truck, 14th on the board is Kyle Zimmer in his Ford F-150. Garrett had a great showing a couple of weeks back at Darlington Speedway in his machine. We're expecting for good things out of that driver, Kyle Zimmer, here tonight. However, folks, the pole award is going to go here tonight to the number 97 machine of Mike Floppy Tellier. And Garrett, that's extremely impressive that Tellier was able to do that.
Mike's been on a roll lately, Peter. A couple of weeks ago we talked, and Mike was saying about how maybe he was getting a little burnt out with racing, but the finishes have been there, and the momentum's been there for Mike, and I'm not really shocked to see him up front, Peter. He's one of those guys that gets to a track and figures it out and then tries to teach everyone else the track. Now, maybe that doesn't help him sometimes because guys figure it out and maybe get better than him, but we've seen him run in the top 5 consistently these last few weeks, Peter, and if he wins tonight's race, I would not be surprised in the least.
Yeah, so there you can see the drivers who took time and the qualifying results. Tellier by 13 thousandths of a second faster than Philip Scott. Andrew Himmelman, 46 thousandths of a second. Jamar Dumas, good qualifying run for him there in 4th. John Canizaro running out your top 5. So one of the reasons I bring this up here, Garrett, is because I want to highlight the different drivers contending for the title. We got Nick Chambrone. He's the fastest of all. He is third position in points, in seventh position. Then your current points leader, Bill Edwards, in the number 50, he's going to roll off 10, so you see them 7th and 10th. Mike Tellier, we mentioned that he's kind of a long shot. He's going to have this race go really, really well for him. It couldn't go better than it did in qualifying with him taking the pole. So if Tellier can get out of here with a strong run and maybe a little bit of bad luck to Chambrone and Edwards, maybe Tellier can enter the mix next week when we go to our season finale. And I'll tell you what, Garrett, our season finale here in the Total Nonstop Racing League, it is going to go all the way back to Homestead, Miami. We started off the season in Florida at Daytona. We're going to end off the season in Florida at the Homestead, Miami 1.5 mile oval. It's a lot of fun down there. Holy smokes, we got a big stack up here in practice. This is the final warm-up session, and I think that was the number 13 of James Varela going up and over. Hopefully that isn't indication of what we're going to see later on tonight as John Canzaro does John Force down the middle portion of the racetrack.
Well, Canzaro's always putting on a show, Peter. During the race, before the race, after the race, he just can't help himself. So not surprised to see John Canzaro also looking for a new career opportunity. Maybe drag racing is his thing, Peter. We're all good at something, and I'm sure John's still out there looking for his thing. So good luck, buddy. We wish you all the success in the world. But back to what you were actually talking about, Peter. Going from Daytona to Homestead, what a journey it's been. This series has been amazing. I'm sure after the season we're going to send out a questionnaire, see what everyone thought of the series, things we can improve. And I'm hoping to keep this truck series alive in some fashion. So if you guys have really enjoyed it, our sponsor, Stay Tuned Sports, if he's still on board, perhaps we continue this on into the future. But I'm looking forward to a little bit of a break as well, my friend. But we got 2 races to call, and I'm sure they're going to be good ones.
That is for sure. Now it's time to see whether or not our driver of the number 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier is going to be able to participate in that butt kicker challenge. Remember, folks, like I said, today, if you are in the chat, thebuttkicker.com, 15% off the entire site, part of their Black Friday sale. Of course, it's kind of Cyber Monday, but all those Black Friday deals extending through today. So make sure to check out thebuttkicker.com. If you've ever thought of getting one, now is the time to buy one. We will see whether or not Tellier elects to go for that extra cash, courtesy of our friends over at thebuttkicker.com here in just a moment. Philip Scott there on the front row, ineligible for that butt kicker challenge, but he has tried going for it before, being unsuccessful. We'll see how the 99 performs here tonight. But Garrett, it's, I think, time to bring up tonight's starting grid for everyone at home.
Here we go, Peter. Mike Tellier starting on the pole in the 97. His good friend Philip Scott in the 99 starting on the outside. I don't look for him to stay in second place very long, Peter, if he can help it. Andrew Himmelman with a good qualifying run will roll off third. Jamar Dumas continues his strong effort, starting fourth. Wild Child, John Canzaro, will roll off 5th. Kevin Stone, let's hope he has some good luck tonight, Peter, rolls off 6th. Last week's winner, Nick Chambrone, will start 7th. Thuggy Tristan Maher will start 8th. James Lorello and Bill Edwards round out your top 10.
Jason Freeman, John Boris, 11th and 12th here tonight. Just going to kind of rattle them off here a little bit. 13th spot, Ben Adams, Kyle Zimmer, 14th. Fernando Matos, Brian Brownlee, 15th and 16th. Bob Giaquinto, Steve Bavacqua, 17th and 18th. Tom Bourne, Jason Gracias rounding out our top 20. Vincent Valvano, Stephen Kegman, 21st, 22nd. Jason Shue and Tony Lucarelli back there on row number 12. And Johnny Williams will be rounding out our 25 truck grid here tonight. And folks, we do have good news. The number 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier, he is going to participate. Oops, sorry about that. He's going to participate in the butt kicker challenge. He becomes our butt kicker driver of the race. And we will highlight that number 97 as he works his way back up through the field to try and pick up some extra cash. And of course, like we said, it is Black Friday deals at thebuttkicker.com, 15% off. Should be a lot of fun to see them race up through the field. But Garrett, field working their way through turn number 3 and 4. iRacing pace car is down onto pit road. It is time to go racing in the Music City as Philip Scott in the number 99 pulls out to an early lead.
Wow, you're not kidding, Peter. Philip Scott didn't waste any time getting to the lead there, and we'll see if he can hold off a hard-charging Andrew Himmelman. We've got to keep our eye on that back of the field, too, Peter. We got Jason Gracias and Mike Tellier aren't going to be in that back of the pack for very long.
No, that is for sure. Single file up near the front of the field. Meanwhile, the first side-by-side battle is between the 77 of Kevin Stone on the high side of James Zarella. You can just see how bumpy this racetrack is, the inside groove here. There's a lot of contact up at the front of the field, and Andrew Himmelman in the number 8 machine has had an issue, and that is going to bring out the first caution flag of the race. Garrett, an early yellow flag here falling on lap number 2.
You hate to see this, Peter. These guys waited all week for this. They dealt with their families, good and bad, over Thanksgiving. Just wanted to do some racing tonight. And we're going to watch the number 8 of Andrew Himmelman here, running in second place. And we're going to keep watching him, Peter, because it didn't happen yet. Oh, just snapped loose on him, Peter. And Cannizzaro is going to be some collateral damage. Nick Chambron's going to try to pass him on the high side. And Andrew Himmelman's going to do a little bit of a wheelie there, Peter. A lot of contending trucks, good trucks are involved, and never misses the party. Tristan Maher coming in late to the party there and getting involved as well.
Yeah, let's go on board here with, I believe this is Nick Chambron. You can see this happen right in front of him. And Garrett, he tried to go high. Remember, he's one of the drivers that we believe still in the hunt for the title. And, man, that is some hefty contact, kind of the meat of the sandwich there. That is not going to be good for the Dizzy Motorsports machine here early on. Andrew Himmelman just kind of losing the back end. That SimShots number 8 is on pit road. We got some other cars coming down pit road. Tristan Maher down pit lane. I think John Cannizzaro also coming down pit road there. He's got that front end damage. Tristan Maher came down. Interestingly enough, Nick Chambron did not come down pit road in the 01 machine. So, Garrett, he's hoping that the damage on that 01 Tundra isn't going to be that bad. We will find out here when he goes back green. Of course, this is a short track, so you don't need a whole lot of aerodynamic downforce on the front of these trucks. Hopefully that is to his benefit, but he very much could have knocked out the toe on that truck here, and if you knock out the toe, it can be a handful for the rest of the race. Checking out the chat, we got Nilton Matos in the chat here tonight. Nilton, of course, it is the Signarama 125 of Hollywood, Florida, not California. There's a link to the Signarama of Hollywood page in the description of the video. John Cannizzaro Jr. saying he has to play Elvis to survive this one. Well, already damaged early on. Dan Noble in the chat. And the Windsors, Tana Himmelman as well. Thanks for tuning in here, folks. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And we're about to go back green here, Garrett, with the number 99 leading us to the green flag.
Yeah, getting ready to go back green here, Peter. Philip Scott on it again. He definitely wants to win his first race tonight. I could just see it in his restarts. After Nick Chambron winning that race with that damaged truck at Talladega, I would not be surprised to see him contending here, and we'll see how long he can hold on second place.
Meanwhile, side-by-side action a little bit further back. Here's Jason Freeman trying to go to the outside of Bill Edwards. Edwards here falling back, just sliding up, in front of the 51 of Kyle Zimmer. Now here comes Ben Adams, a new look on the number 5 truck this week, right behind Zimmer. Zimmer is quickly racing his way up into the top 10 plus 5 spots here in the early going. Look at Jason Freeman, Jamar Dumas. This is a side-by-side battle right now for the 5th position. Jason Freeman, who started this race back in 11th, trying to get his way into the top 5 for the first time here tonight, and sure enough does so. It's been a good start for the Mason-Dixon Esports number 20. Of course, the last race we had on 3-Wine TV was the Mason-Dixon Esports 150 at Talladega. Now we're looking at this group. The number 1 back here, Jason Gracias. He, like he usually does here, starts at the back of the field trying to race his way up through the field to the front. He's now up to 12th, and look who's up to 13th now. That is the driver participating in our Butt Kicker Challenge, the number 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier, but caution flag waves for the second time tonight.
Peter, I saw a blue truck having some problems there. Looked like he was pointed in the wrong direction. Can't wait to pull up this replay and see what happened.
Yeah, the number 60 here, Brian Bradley. Let's see what happened. We got GTR Simulator on the hood of that truck, and it into the wall by himself, and that's enough to bring out the caution flag for the second time here tonight. The flagman needs a name here tonight, so stay tuned, sports. is in the chat. He has the official job of naming the flagman. Let's see if we can go on board here with Brian Bradley and Garrett. Similar to what we saw last time. In turn number 3, we saw this catch out to Andrew Himmelman. The back end kicks out. You see him try to counter steer, but unfortunately the wall is never too far away from your truck here at Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, Peter, he did a good job there not getting anyone else involved in the accident, and I think a lot of drivers respect that. When you don't make a bad situation worse there, your race is probably going to be a little bit screwed up, and if you turn that truck the wrong way, you're going to screw up a lot of guys' nights. So looks like Andrew Himmelman's getting a free pass, so that's good news for him. His mother in the chat, and didn't look like too much damage on the 60. I think Bradley's going to be able to continue here and without too much of a fuss.
Yeah, so we will get things reset here in just a little bit. Lap number 13. Hey, Space is in the chat saying, hey, what is going on here? Well, Space, it is the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Monday Night Thunder here on 3 Wine TV. The Truck Series, it is a Signarama of Hollywood 125. Big shout out to them for sponsoring tonight's race, but thanks to you for joining in the chat here tonight, along with Daniel Noble saying, call him Emmett. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, Dan. You'll have to let me know. But Milton Matos saying evening. Hopefully you're having a good night down there in Florida. iRacing pace car lights still twinkling atop the key out eye up there at the front of the field. But yeah, Garrett, hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving. I think your Giants, I think, had a fairly good Thanksgiving.
Peter, you must have been picking up on what I was thinking here. I was hoping you would throw it to me with some sort of football reference so I can ask, where's Jimbo? A rough loss for the Eagles yesterday, one of the worst games I've watched as far as a coaching and offensive perspective. Eagles were averaging about 10 yards a carry, and the Giants abandoned the run and ended up losing the game. So curious to hear the podcast this week, see what Jimbo has to think. Hopefully he's okay. We definitely need you, Jimbo, to name the flagman. And hey, as a Giants fan, I mean, the losses are tough, bud, but you just got to get over them. So hope to see you in the chat here in a couple minutes.
I got it, Dan Emmett, because everything is awesome. Everything is awesome. Although these cars are not exactly made out of Lego. Maybe iRacing needs to get a Lego car. I don't know. They kind of fall apart like Lego. They kind of fall apart in chosen pieces. But anyway, that's a matter of the simulation. iRacing pace car lights, however, have stopped to twinkling, so that's good news. And more good news, Garrett, surprisingly so, the 01 machine, under that last run, we said he had all that damage. He might, be much slower. He was able to hold on to that second spot. So let's see what Chambrone can do here when the green flag falls. Does he have anything for Philip Scott? We will find out, because we're back racing here at the Nashville Fairgrounds as they race towards turn number 1. James Arello is now up into the 3rd spot. Kevin Stone in 4th. Jason Freeman in 5th. And look at all these trucks jostle for positions as they head down the backstretch.
Yeah, some good racing right in this group, Peter, inside the top 10. And I, as you went to that 77, I was just hoping we didn't jinx him. It is so great seeing him having a good run early on. And everyone, please stay away from him and don't take him out. He needs this, guys. So good battle here. Looking at the number 1 of Jason Gracias from the 97 of Mike Tellier, the 2 guys at the beginning of the race. We said we're starting at the back. They'll be making their way forward. And here they are, 18 laps into the race and a couple of green flag runs in.
Yeah, and definitely they are slicing their way up through the field very impressively. We're now seeing Tellier jump to the high side of Bill Edwards. Gracias on the high side now of, I believe that is the number 5 machine of Ben Adams, with a little bit of a new look this week. Kind of has that 3-wide TV vibe. Has 3-wide TV on the rear of that number 5 truck. Great to see that. Also kind of using the 3-wide TV blue to kind of hue that truck, and I'm appreciative of it. That's for sure. And as this is racing for about the 9th position, Gracias just crept himself up inside the top 10. Look at Tellier getting underneath Bill Edwards back behind, so move him up to 11. And the driver who started shotgun on the field here tonight, Tellier, doing that butt kicker challenge, already erased half the field in the opening 22 laps. That is extremely, extremely difficult to do here at this short racetrack. Meanwhile, up the front of the field, that is the number 99, Philip Scott. He's your race leader. Nick Chambrone back behind him as we start to go maybe just starting to get a little bit single file now here. Garrett, you can see one truck there off the pace towards the back of the pack. Not sure who that was flashing on by, but the field mostly. Oh, it's Johnny Williams. New paint scheme on Johnny's truck. It seems like he's always whipping out a new paint scheme to run here in the Stay Tuned Sports Monday Night Thunder Truck Series. But there you see pretty much all single file throughout the field.
Single file, these guys might be calming down a little bit, Peter. It looks like Kyle Zimmer was the only guy testing out of the second groove on the racetrack there. But not surprised to see this at this point in the race. You want to save your stuff for the end here. I think guys saw those first couple cautions and they decided maybe some patience would be a good idea. And it looks like we're getting a little bit of a separation in the field, but it won't last for long, Peter, because you're going to start encountering lap traffic, starting with the 19 of Johnny Williams and then moving on forward.
So we'll just hopefully get a little bit of green flag running in here, Garrett. Some early caution flags, 2 in the opening 20 laps or so. We're now working what I believe to be the longest green flag run of the night, if memory serves me correct. We got some side-by-side action here, close between Ben Adams and the number 1 of Jason Gracias. A couple trucks in front of them. That's John Boris, the DizzyMerch.com number 86 Toyota. He just got around Jason Freeman, so move Boris now up inside the top 5, usurping Freeman from that title. Boris started this race in 12th. He's up to 5th. That's 7 positions gained, not as many as Jason Gracias, who has picked up 11 spots from the drop of the green flag. But nonetheless, a very impressive run for this number 86 in the early going. We'll see if he can track down the number 77, Kevin Stone, who's also been having a really good run here tonight. Of course, that number 77, Garrett, has not had a lot of luck here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Seems like he's always involved in someone else's mess. And hopefully Kevin can just ride this one out and have a good night tonight.
Peter, I'm at the point in my life where not much matters, and I think I'd make a deal with the devil just to see the number 77 have a good run and finish a race. I mean, I wouldn't be losing much, I don't think, as far as where my life's headed, but great to see Kevin Stone continue to put the effort out here week after week, and eventually the luck has to turn around for him. And I hope tonight's the night to get that ball rolling in the right direction.
Yeah, hopefully tonight is the night. Meanwhile, Nick Chambrone and James Dorello, they make contact, and Chambrone starts to go around. This time it's the 86 of John Borst who gets involved, and some more collateral damage behind, involving the number 97, the butt kicker challenge driver, as Bob Giaquinto sneaking his way on through, and oh my goodness, Chambrone getting pointed in the right direction, and that's not good for one of the drivers tonight, Garrett, who needed a strong run in the points hunt. Let's see if we can figure out what happened from the 3-wide TV blimp cam that somehow we fly to every single race. You see like Lorello looking underneath there just enough to get almost to halfway on the side of the 01 machine, and man, that's a tough one to call. Not a lot of contact between the two, but I don't even think the blimp cam does a good job of really determining whether the 01 came down or the 13 came up. Either way, they made contact, and the 01 of Chambrone, unfortunately, going around in front of the field.
Yeah, that's a tough one there, Peter. Two very talented race car drivers. Looks like they were going for the same territory here. We just talked about patience. And James had the run here on Chambrone. Chambrone didn't have the best exit there, and James wanted to capitalize. And hey, you got to take the chances to make the pass, and you just kind of hope you get a little more room than the track has to offer at times. But I don't see really much wrong that the 01 did here. Obviously, it's just guys going for same real estate, buddy.
Yeah, two drivers ending up making contact here, and unfortunately that's going to be Chambrone going around. Hopefully he can come down and get some of that damage repaired. He's on pit road right now, just beating the pace car off, and going to lose a lot of that track position. Looks like he might have put 4 fresh tires on. Might come back around to see if he can get some more of that damage repaired. We did see also Mike Floppy Tellier get some damage, as well as the number 1 of Jason Gracias. We've been highlighting their run through the field. Tellier is still in his pit box. That is bad news for tonight's butt kicker challenge. Sorry about that. There we go. Get rid of that graphic. But the number 97 of Tellier, folks, just this is not good news. He's already down 1 lap, about to go down 2 laps. Gonna need some lucky dogs to get back on the lead lap, G.
What? Did he get a lot of damage from that accident, Peter? I didn't seem to catch him piling in there or anything. I hope nothing terminally is wrong. The truck looks like it's in pretty good shape. Certainly you could come back from a lap or 2 down here with the right amount of cautions, but oh, here we go. 3-wide TV replay. Let's see what happened to the 97.
Yeah, so watch all this madness break out in front. There's the checkup, and man, that happened so fast. Man, he really got into the back of the 51 of Kyle Zimmer. Fortunately, Zimmer made contact with the outside wall. I mean, I don't know where Tellier got the rear end damage. In fact, Tellier might have gotten run over from behind. Let's see if we can see back there. That's Steve Bavacqua in the Peeps Marshmallows number 34 machine. Keep our eyes on this. This is about when it all went down, and oh man, Bavacqua got into the outside wall. Let's keep watching. Let's keep watching just in case something else happened. And doesn't look like it. Oh, yep. Blown motor on the number 97 machine. And I don't know if anyone saw any of that, because I'm out of practice here, guys. Let's go on it one more time. There we go. Sorry, folks. I'm out of practice. I haven't done this in a week. It's all that turkey. Peeps Marshmallows, Chevy Silverado just barely misses him. But he got into the back of Gracias pretty hard here, and watch what happens right about now. Or not. There it goes. There it goes. Off towards turn number 1. You just see some puffs of smoke coming out the back of that number 97 truck. Just a few. Not a whole lot, but just a few. And unfortunately, that appears to be night done for our number 97 machine. Meanwhile, folks, I missed the green flag, but I didn't miss a lot of green flag, because we're back to yellow flag, and let's see what happened to bring out the 4th caution flag of the night. And was this a little bit of payback? Oh, it looked like it was. Nick Chambrone saying, hey buddy, I didn't appreciate that. And James Zarello going around off the front bumper. And Garrett, I would say that they're probably even now. Short track, tempers flaring.
Yeah, they're definitely even. It looks like Nick Chambrone is taking some applications for Dizzy Championship Wrestling there, Peter. Going to get in the ring with James Lorello and see what each guy has. But I guess tonight, Nashville Fairgrounds is the ring they're choosing to do battle in. Don't think our race administrator, Justin White, the sheriff, is going to be too happy with those 2 guys doing that this early in the race and causing another yellow after yellow. But sometimes, Peter, as you know, as a fellow race car driver, emotions get the best of you, and I don't think it'll continue on after this for those 2 gentlemen.
Well, the thing is, at this point of the race, Garrett, is at least they're even with 140 laps to go, and they aren't not even with, a half a lap to go, and you end up ruining a driver's night. And yeah, I mean, I gotta say, Chambrone, I think, turned him, but he didn't. He didn't slam him into the wall. He didn't do something that was over aggressive in my book. That was kind of wrecking somewhat politely. If you get what I'm saying. You didn't just slam him into a wall. You didn't wreck him in a spot where he was going to be put into the wall, that type of thing. Boys have at it sometimes. We got 2 races left in the championship, including tonight. Chambrone's in it. He obviously felt wrong when there was that contact with Lorello, and he's making himself heard. So we will see if that continues here tonight. Meanwhile, the bad news for our butt kicker challenge driver, Mike Floppy Tellier, continues to sit in his pit box. Kyle Zimmer and John Borst also still in their pit box. Jason Gracias is on pit road right now, as is James Lorello, getting some damage repaired. But I think it might be night done for Tellier, Zimmer, and Borst. Johnny Williams has pulled off the racetrack. He's now back on the racetrack. Something must have happened to that number 19 because it's smashed up on all four corners. So Johnny Williams is actually the recipient, of the Lucky Dog Award. But he's many laps down. And without a shot, really, here tonight. 13 laps down as they are right now. All right, folks, the iRacing pace car lights have turned off. Thanks to everyone who has liked the video here tonight. It looks like we're up to 7 likes. We really do appreciate it here on 3 Wide TV. The number 99, the Philip Scott up there, Kevin Stone to the inside. We're about to go back green flag action here on lap number 44. Closing in on the halfway, well, not even halfway, the quarter race distance here tonight. As the number 99, the Philip Scott, so far, Garrett, leading every lap.
So far, so good for the 99 of Philip Scott. We're on some different strategies here, Peter. We said guys like Bob Giaquinto, Vincent Valvano, and others move their way into the top 10 here. We're going to see how the different tire strategies play out at this point. But Philip Scott, just keep on cruising, bud. You're out front. You got nothing in front of you. Keep putting down good lap times to be consistent. Maybe the race will go your way. As we're taking a look at the number 3 of Jason Shu. Some fresh tires behind him, I believe, there, Peter.
Yeah, and I'm watching number 13 of Lorello. He's being really aggressive here right on that bottom side of the racetrack. We saw him go 3 wide there just a moment ago, and now we just have to watch what he's going to do right behind the number 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr. These two have raced each other quite a bit over the years. As the 01 machine around on the backstretch again. What happened here to Nick Chambrone? Chambrone very much in the wars here tonight. Let's see, Garrett, again, Chambrone involved.
Well, that's Tristan Maher, I believe, underneath him there, Peter. My screen just got a little blurry, and that's twice now for Chambrone. I think we're going to have a Royal Rumble or Battle Royal at Disney Championship Wrestling when this race is over. We have a lot of guys looking to get even at this point.
Now, let's see if we can see this one from the onboard view of Nick Chambrone, who had all that momentum entering into tonight. He was racing down there, I believe, with Tristan Maher. Here's Maher's perspective. And you can see Maher's kind of sticking down to that yellow line. But look at this big bump. I think Maher hit a bump. Chambrone really not giving any real space to the number 98. This is one of those racetracks, Garrett, where, you know, if the car to your inside hits a bump, you can't always say it's the truck on the inside's fault. Because you just have to hit bumps here. It's a bumpy racetrack, and you know, sometimes you pinch, you pay. That one there is, you know, going to be very unfortunate from a championship perspective of Nick Chambrone. Hopefully, he can get his truck repaired up. He probably has quite a bit of damage at this point, but definitely going to be one of those where I don't really think you can pin that on the number 98 for the second time here tonight, Garrett. It's kind of just 2 trucks ending up in the same spot on this particular racetrack. This track is extremely bumpy, folks.
Yeah, absolutely, Peter. This track is bumpy, and like we said, you run out of room there quick, especially with 2 guys that close battling for position. And obviously, we don't think we know there was no intent there on the 98's part. He did not want to run into Nick Chambrone to do damage to himself or Chambrone. That had nothing to do with the previous incidents. And as far as Chambrone goes, I mean, he feels like he probably got shot about 12 times in an action hero movie, Peter. But for some reason, he's still clinging to life. He's still out there running. He could still make up positions. And speaking of people who are making up positions, do you see that number 23 running in 3rd place, Peter? I think we know that guy.
Yeah, that's Bob Giaquinto, 3 Wide TV's own, running the Polyhedral Cathedral, number 23 Chevy Silverado right there in the center of your screen. Great job by Bob to get that truck up there inside the top 3 right now. Started all the way back in the 17th position here tonight, so plus 14 spots in the opening 50 or so laps. Things definitely working out the way that Bob Giaquinto wanted it here tonight. Hopefully he can continue that going. Maybe get some strategy to fall his way, but the iRacing pace car lights have turned off. We'll see how Bob fares once we get back to green flag action. Your top 4 drivers have yet to make a pit stop here tonight. Andrew Himmelman is the first of the drivers who has pitted in his sim shots, number 8. Like Fernando Matos as well pitted with the number 8 of Himmelman. Pace car heads down pit road. We're back racing. Green flag waving again here at Nashville Fairgrounds. As Philip Scott, who, like we mentioned a little while ago, has led every single lap here tonight. He is in front of the madness that is ensuing back behind him.
Looks like qualifying was important tonight, Peter. Philip Scott started up front, was able to take advantage of Mike dropping to the rear, and he stayed up front so far. We'll see how the strategy plays out. We have a lot of race to go as we're looking out the back of the Mason-Dixon machine of Jason Freeman at the 23 of Bob Giaquinto and a pack of trucks behind him.
And I think this is going to give a really good indication of just how bumpy this racetrack is, folks. I mean, this is definitely not glassy smooth. It's not an F1 track, that's for sure. Just watch the lines on these trucks. They kind of have to live and breathe. Brian Bradley there getting below the apron a little bit now. He's stacking up the whole field back there. Here comes Bill Edwards looking out front of the number 50 machine. There is the number 60 of Bradley. And now caution flag waving yet again here, Garrett.
Well, Peter, if you had plans with your wife after this race, you might want to postpone them because we're going to be here for a while at this pace. So take a look at 2 of our more talented drivers and administrators in the league, Jason Gracias and Tristan Maher. And wow, Tristan had nothing to do with that. Jason Gracias just got into that corner way too hot, and it looks like the number 1 machine snapped on him, Peter.
Hey, wifey. Hey, cancel all the plans. Cancel all the plans. Okay, yeah, we're back. Yeah, right now on board with the number 1 machine. Back end kicks around for the second time. We've seen that here tonight. And folks, we didn't have any plans. But unfortunately, that's I think actually the 3rd time we've seen that happen right there in turn number 3. And Garrett, I just wonder if it's something about the bumps. We keep mentioning the bumps here. I just wonder if the way the bumps and the way the suspension travels, that you get on the brakes there and it just doesn't want to hook up with the racetrack. It kind of skips across the racetrack. The tires don't grip, and you get into that kind of death wobble. Jason Gracias just sending it up into the wall, and you can see how heavy of a hit that was for the number 1 machine. It will not be going to victory lane here tonight.
That looked like a mercy killing, Peter. Like we talked about earlier, sometimes instead of wrecking someone else, it's good to jump on the grenade, so to speak, and that looks like what the number 1 of Jason Gracias did there. A shame for Jason. He's a heck of a race car driver, and one of those guys that runs so consistent every week, and you don't expect him to make a mistake, and when it finally does happen, it's shocking. But it looks like we have a change up front. Looks like Philip Scott decided to make his first pit stop, and Jamar Dumas taking over the lead in the 28. Another good run for Jamar.
John B. in the chat saying it's a 180-lap race, and drivers are driving like it's a 12-lap limited late feature. And I mean, I have to agree, Garrett. These drivers are not giving each other enough room out there for one, especially with how bumpy this racetrack is, going back to the bumps, and how much we're seeing these trucks move around. There are some setups, don't get me wrong, in iRacing where even if you go to a bumpy racetrack, the truck will drive over the bumps. It will drive very smoothly. This is one of those setups, though. It does not look like it handles the bumps very well. It's very lively when it hits those bumps. The driver's not giving enough attention. We've seen some drivers dive bombing. We've seen some 3-wide action that's probably a little bit unnecessary. We're not even to the halfway mark here. I mean, we're not even the 2/3 of the halfway mark. We're still very early in this race. Not a lot of give and take out there. Granted, there's 2 races left in the championship. We only had 3 real competitors coming into tonight for the titles. One of those not even here tonight. And Mike Floppy Tellier, who was 4th in points, he's out of the race. Nick Chambrone is out of the race. He's 3rd place in points. Mitchell Adams didn't start the race. Now, really, this could be a huge night for driver of the number 50 machine, Bill Edwards, because he's really the sole remaining driver in the points hunt left in the show. 4th place in points, Mike Floppy Tellier was tied with John Cannizzaro. Cannizzaro is still in the race, but he's had some damage. He's now also well back in the pack in his Stay Tuned Sports machine. So if I'm the outer race official, I'm saying, hey, guys, you need to respect the bumps. This is a track that's very bumpy. If you do not respect the bumps, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to wreck. Bad things are going to happen. Meanwhile, one driver, ooh, contact! Now the 28 of Dumas gets sent up the racetrack, and again, I think the bumps might have been involved in that. Himmelman sent it into the corner a little bit too hard, hit the bump, slid up the racetrack right into the side of Dumas, and we almost had another big wreck.
Wow, that was a kamikaze move there, Peter, by the number 8 of Andrew Himmelman. Jamar could have had an issue with the bumps there, but Andrew wasn't waiting. It's like it's like he did not want to miss the opportunity to get to the lead and see what he could do out front in some fresh air. But we'll see if the 28 can recover here, and hopefully these guys settle down. Like you said, Peter, some respect and some give and take. You're all dealing with the same racetrack out there. You're all dealing with the same bumps. You're dealing with the same handling characteristics. You all have the same setup. Give some space. Some give and take, some respect would go a long way, and that's what would help this league grow. Not beating the doors off each other on lap 20 like John Borst and others have mentioned in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely, no league wants to foster beating and banging from lap 5. That is definitely not what you want to foster. You want to foster drivers respecting the racetrack. This is a racetrack in particular where you have to race the racetrack. I mean, we saw that Darlington Raceway, another racetrack where you have to race the track. And we saw some really good action there, some great racing, some long green flag runs. But here tonight, I don't think these drivers are respecting the racetrack like what we saw at Darlington, as Jason Freeman, the Mason-Dixon Esports racing machine, looking to the inside here in the Signarama of Hollywood 125, trying to take the race lead. I think possibly becoming just the 4th different leader of the race. Philip Scott, Jamar Dumas, Andrew Himmelman, and now Jason Freeman in that number 20 up at the front of the field. Meanwhile, Jamar Dumas trying to recover after that contact with Andrew Himmelman. He'll look to the inside of the Polyhedral Cathedral, number 23. Ben Adams starting to poke the nose, but ducks back in behind the number 28. And this is, I mean, you can just see here just how lively these race trucks are. You can't pinch them down, I don't think. I think pinching's going to give you problems, and I think these drivers, you're going to have to feather the truck coming out of the corner. We saw Jamar Dumas, I think, do that there because it looks like it's getting really tight on the bottom side of the racetrack. Now Dumas able to clear Giaquinto. But you're just going to have patience to complete these passes. You can't just throw it in there, complete these passes, and make it look easy. It's not easy. You have to contend with the bumps as well as a potentially ill-handling race truck, and that's kind of what these trucks look like here tonight. They don't look content. They don't look happy. I don't know if it's the setup or just the fact that this racetrack is so bumpy. It's near on impossible to get content race trucks with a certain setup, but they definitely appear to have some characteristics. That's the best way to put it tonight.
Peter, you made a good point there also about it's not easy out there, and we don't want this league to be easy. Like, we want to challenge these guys. We want to bring out the best in people. But like you said, when it's not easy. When something's difficult, you have to understand it's difficult for everyone. And just because you might be able to figure out how to pass a truck, the other guy might not be there yet. And unfortunately, that's the skill gap in some leagues, especially a league that's grown as fast as Total Nonstop Racing. It's something that, hopefully, with enough racing around each other and respect with each other in the future, that we can improve on. And a short track, a lot of times, Peter, we have cautions when we're broadcasting here on 3Y TV. But as the league owner and one of the administrators here in Total Nonstop Racing, I expect better. And I hope over these next 100 laps or so, we start to see what these guys are really capable of out here at Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, and just so people are aware, I mean, there is some open discussions on how to handle this right now going on in the Total Nonstop Racing administration discussions on actually maybe even pulling some people from the top series and saying, hey, you're going to have to go to a series where you might have to show your worth in this particular series to make it up into the top series, because patience can run thin, and it doesn't just run thin out there on the racetrack. So that's one thing that is going to be discussed over, the next upcoming period over the winter break, so to speak, here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. because there's obviously room for improvement, and it's races like this where that can kind of come to the forefront. But we do have a good green flag run here right now as Bill Edwards looking to the inside of Andrew Himmelman. Himmelman giving him plenty of space now. Is Himmelman going to give up the spot? Doesn't look like it. Himmelman, who appears to not be as fast as Bill Edwards at this moment in time. Definitely not as fast as Jason Freeman, as Freeman has said see ya later to the rest of the field. He's up front by about 2.5 seconds. Meanwhile, one driver returning to the racetrack is Mike Floppy Tellier. Remember, he had that blown motor? Well, his crew has gone to work. He's back out there on the racetrack trying to pick up some positions. He's already got around Jason Graphix and Nick Chambrone. So he is working his way, at least hoping to work his way up the scoring pylon, but is many laps down from this man right here, Jason Freeman. And as I say that, looks like we have another accident, or had another accident. We stay green flag, and your leaders are going to have to work their way through that, and it might have just involved Mike Floppy Tellier. Let's see what happened here that did not bring out a caution flag. Surprisingly did not bring out a caution flag with the number 97 of Tellier. Did he try and take it 3 wide? No, he gets into the back of the 24, Fernando Matos, and absolutely punts Matos into the inside wall. They ground to a complete halt, but did not bring out the caution flag, and now the caution flags come out because James Zarello has appeared to have gone around in the number 13 machine. Garrett, let's see. It's been a tough night for the number 13 of Lorello.
Peter, as we were calling that, I was hoping our race administrator, Justin White, was going to throw the yellow there for the incident between Mike and Fernando. Obviously, not something Mike wanted to do, and like you said, James is having a rough night there in the 13 as well. But Mike came out of the pits, Peter, with that motor repaired, probably on fresh tires, and just, I know Mike didn't want to do that, and I'm not going to say, that's one of the things that we know as league administrators we cannot have out there, and Mike knows that. I see he's in the chat right now probably apologizing to Fernando, as James Lorello did a good job keeping it off the wall, Peter, so his night will continue on without much more of a fuss than he's already had.
So that will put some drivers down onto pit road. Jason Freeman is one of those. Andrew Himmelman coming down pit road. Jamar Dumas as well. Bob Giaquinto, Jason Shu, all making a stop. Fernando Matos in the number 24 also coming down pit road. Steve Bavacqua in the number 36. He's multiple laps down right now in the Peeps Marshmallow machine. Johnny Williams still out there running with all of his damage that we don't know where it came from on his number 19 truck. Tellier back on pit road with that extra damage he just picked up. But hopefully no major damage for all 3 of those trucks that we just saw just a little while ago have an incident. But we're not yet to the halfway mark. 8 laps away from seeing the cross flags here. Still don't have a name for the flagman. Stay tuned, Sports. If you're in the chat, make sure you let us know what your flagman name of the race is here tonight. But we really do appreciate all of you joining us here in the chat on 3 Blind TV. And hope that you all have a great Thanksgiving as well. If you're just now joining us, Bill Edwards in the number 50 appears to be our race leader after this most recent round of pit stops, with Ben Adams in the number 5 to his inside. And Kevin Stone back there, also the number 38, Vincent Valvano into the top 4 right now. Philip Scott, who was our de facto pole sitter when Mike Floppy Tellier went for the butt kicker challenge before his, I would say his butt got kicked in that number 97 here tonight. That number 99 was our de facto pole sitter after that, and he's back up into the top 5. You see a lot of trucks have quite a bit of damage, as I think, Garrett, right now we're down to 14 or 15 trucks on the lead lap, and I believe we only have 19 trucks still running out there with 3 or 4 retirements here tonight.
Yeah, we had a short field to begin with, Peter, and usually that leads itself to some green flag running, but we haven't had that. And with the short field, these guys have been expiring one by one, and we're not left with too many trucks running. So hopefully the lack of numbers here provides for better racing, but for those guys that are in the garage, it's just an unfortunate night to waste of time as we go back green, and Bill Edwards is taking the lead here and see if he can expand on that points lead by leading some laps.
Yeah, Bill Edwards in that number 50 is out front, and he will get the bonus points for leading laps. Kevin Stone looking underneath Vincent Valvano in the number 38 for some reason. Again, being confused with our good old Bob Giaquinto friend here on 3 Wide TV as they work their way out of turn number 2 onto the backstretch. And here at this racetrack, it doesn't really give you a whole lot of time to breathe. As you can see, they shoot down the front stretches. Ben Adams in the number 5 machine. They make contact. They almost make contact. What happened there to the number 5? He's going backwards.
Peter, we're going to have to take a closer look at... Oh, is he pulling off the track, Peter?
Yeah, I think he's...
That's kind of crazy.
This has to be a lane change violation on the restart for the driver of the number 5 machine. Let's see if we can see whether or not that was the case. Here we are, 3 Wide TV replay of the most recent restart. And Ben Adams, did he change lanes? Yes, sure enough, he definitely went up to that high line. That is a lane change, and that will get you a drive-through penalty out of race official issuing that drive-through penalty. And now Ben Adams going to find himself a lap down just about where he was on the racetrack, ironically, before having to come down pit road, racing with Vincent Valvano. Valvano almost getting to the outside wall. Now here comes Evan Stone to the inside in the number 77 Chevy Silverado, and Philip Scott lurking out back.
I still want to wrap that number 77 in some bubble wrap, Peter. I do not want him getting caught up in any of this mess. But going back to Ben Adams, sometimes it is so hard to not clear yourself there coming to the flag. You think like it's not going to hurt anyone. I got all this track. Let me take this opportunity. And as racers, you're programmed that way. And unfortunately for Ben, it didn't benefit him with the pass-through penalty. But he still has enough speed here with the lack of trucks on the lead lap that he can get himself back in contention here as we watch a good battle between the 99 of Phil Scott and the 38 of Vincent Valvano, with Jason Freeman, after making a pit stop, joining the battle as well.
Absolutely. The number 20, Freeman, just cuts up in front of Valvano. Didn't give him a whole lot of space. And now look at James Arello bumping the back bumper of the number 38 machine of Vincent Valvano. Valvano going up the racetrack just a little bit. And now, Freeman with a big wiggle. And now Freeman gets into the side of the number 99. Philip Scott getting pushed up the racetrack. He's going to lose a handful of spots here. The number 99 falls back to 7th.
Short track action, Peter. Certainly not lacking for any of it there. Freeman, the beneficiary of that contact with Philip Scott. Philip Scott going backwards there. And Vincent Valvano. James Lorello is never too far away from a battle as well here, sneaking into the group. But it's crazy, Peter. I think between, like you said, the setup and the track, these guys are just bound to find each other out there.
You have to respect this racetrack. That is for sure. On board with Bob Giaquinto, the Polyhedral Cathedral Chevy Silverado, working his way back up through the field. He's up to 8th now, running behind Vincent Valvano as Philip Scott goes around the outside of the number 38, moved the number 99 back up to 6th. Remember, he started up at the front of the field, led the opening 50 or so laps before heading down pit road on lap number 56. He's finally worked his way back up, but we have made it to the back half of the race here tonight. Bill Edwards is your race leader, comes into tonight as the points leader, and does not have a scratch on the number 50, at least as of right now. He's trying to catch up to Stephen Kegman, who's a couple of truck lengths in front of him in the number 22. Last truck on the lead lap into 14th position. Sorry about that, folks. Trying to hold back a yawn here tonight, Garrett. It's been a long day, as Stephen Kegman here going to lay over for the 50 and fall one lap down.
Yeah, give Kegman some props though, Peter. He was staying on the lead lap. Probably, if I didn't get a chance to talk to him for the race, but if I would have talked to him, he was probably hoping for attrition out there, and he's gotten some of that, staying in the top 15. But Bill Edwards, gotta like the position he's in right now, especially with the amount of yellows we've had and the gap he has on second place, about 3 seconds. But Jason Freeman closing in on those new tires. He's cut about a second off the lead, I think, in the last couple laps. So I'm keeping an eye on him. But Bill should be safe for at least another 10, 15 laps for sure.
is the best battle for position out on, well, what's the best battle for position on the racetrack? Now we got a battle for second right here on your screen between Kevin Stone and Jason Freeman. Move Jason Freeman back up into the second spot. That Mason-Dixon Esports Racing machine has been very quick here tonight, and he will now set sail to try and track down Bill Edwards, who is in the race lead. But Bill Edwards is about 3 or so seconds in front of Jason Freeman, although caution flag is out. In fact, it was almost Bill Edwards as he got loose coming out of the corner, but let's see what brought out this caution flag here tonight.
Well, Peter, just so everyone is aware, I canceled my birthday party for April because I don't think we're going to make it the way the pace this race is going. So looking at the 19 of Johnny Williams out there in the 00 Quinn Huff inspired machine, and looks like that truck was down on power, but it still had enough power to spin out there and cause a caution, albeit with Johnny 15 plus laps down.
Yeah, Johnny has had a rough night. We still don't know where all the damage came from at earlier in the race, but let's see if we can go on board here. And I think he's going to hit that apron right there, and it unnerved that truck and heavy into the inside wall. Caution flag going to wave here around lap number 105. Meanwhile, we got a bunch of drivers on pit road, including our race leader, Bill Edwards. That crew going to work right there. Philip Scott on pit lane, Andrew Himmelman, Kevin Stone, Tristan Maher. There's John Canizaro in the number 12 coming into his pit box. Brian Bradley, Vincent Valvano on pit lane right now. So a lot of these drivers going to come take on 4 fresh tires for the last half of this race. And I don't think they had a whole lot of sets on pit road, did they, G? So I'm wondering if any of those drivers who just took tires, maybe that was their final set of the race.
Certainly could have been, Peter. I believe it or not, I do not have the exact numbers. I had it in front of me for once. I did not get fuel mileage. I was kind of slacking in my duties tonight, but as we can see these differing strategies here, I will reach out to the race director and just see what the status is of how many sets of tires and stuff they had in the pits. But Jason Freeman's on a different strategy. We saw him closing on the fresh tires there, and now he's staying out on this caution. So I don't know, Peter. Are tires going to make the difference here, or is the track position going to continue to be what reigns supreme?
We will have to wait and find out, because we are now about 75 laps away from seeing the checker flag fall here tonight at the Nashville Fairgrounds here on 3Y TV, the Stay Tuned Sports Monday Night Thunder, or Stay Tuned Sports podcast. There's a link to their Podbean in the description, the series sponsor. Great to have them in the chat as well here tonight. Jimbo, always rooting on these drivers. But tell you what, Garrett, just one race left next week, and that is going to be a lot of fun at Homestead, Miami to round out the season. And then, of course, the holiday season is upcoming after that. So a lot of things to look forward to over the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah, Peter, we'll have a heck of a finale next week. I hope we'll put on a good show. That track is so much fun, Homestead, Miami, with the banking and just you're able to run anywhere. So if we give these guys a good setup, that's going to be a tremendous race. And I'm sure everyone is looking forward to taking a little break from racing, for our case, broadcasting on a weekly basis, spend some time with the families, enjoy the holidays, and then we're going to reset, and we're going to try to do everything a little bit better come 2022 here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. And I look forward to everyone accompanying us on the journey, our sponsors, our fans, everyone, Peter. And like I said, just keep giving us the opportunity to get better at this. We're working on it, but let's enjoy what we have, and that's this rest of this race, our finale next week, and then the holidays to look forward to.
That's for sure. Green flag back in the air. Jason Freeman leads us off towards turn number 1. Bob Giaquinto is up into third. Jamar Dumas is there in second. Now again, these drivers are going to have to respect each other out there on the racetrack. Just give each other a little bit of room until we start to find that rhythm that we just had. Longest green flag run of the night. Jason Shue in the number 3 just got into the outside wall back there. There he is. Just got passed by Andrew Himmelman. As now comes under fire as, Vincent Valvano's gone around. Caution flag going to come out again here at Nashville Fairgrounds.
That's a tough break for Vinny there, Peter. He was having a good run, keeping himself in the top 10 for the majority of the night. I'm assuming this is going to be a solo incident here with the 38 on the fresh tires here running at the back of the field, but maybe not. Peter, did he get in there too hot? Lock up a little bit on him?
I don't know. Just seeing coming down, goes below that yellow line. We've seen that be problematic for drivers here tonight. We just saw that with Johnny Williams and Ben Adams getting into the back of the number 38 machine. So I think you have Valvano getting below that yellow line. It unnerved the truck. We've seen that a couple of times here tonight. I think 3 or 4 caution flags now have been brought out because of that very situation. And again, that's probably another thing, being mindful of the racetrack, racing this racetrack, racing the yellow line. It's, can be easier said than done when you're trying to get every little drop out of these racetracks.
Yeah, absolutely, Peter. This track is continuing to bite these guys, and I don't know what obviously the issue is probably, like you said, between the bumps and the setup. But by lap 112 here, you assume most guys are getting it figured out, and I'm sure Vinny just made a simple mistake there. Vinny is one of the most improved drivers over his career here in Total Nonstop Racing League, and he's an absolute pleasure to have out there on a weekly basis. So tough break for Vinny. I know he's probably a little disappointed in himself, but keep your head up, Vinny. Get back out there, and let's see if you can salvage one.
Yeah, let's see what Vincent Valvano can salvage here tonight before the checkered flag falls. You have not been watching the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Monday Night Thunder over the last 7 or 8 weeks. Well, you've been missing out. Been some great racing up until now, the penultimate round of this 8-race championship. It all finishes next week at Homestead, Miami. And just a little while ago, we saw drivers on pit road, and Garrett, you said you had 1 set on the truck to begin, 3 sets in pit lane. So when we saw those drivers on pit road, it is highly unlikely that any of them took their final set of tires. So we're probably good to go almost to the end on maybe 1 more stop for tires. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see, Peter. That's going to be the name of the game here, because with the unpredictability of these yellows, it's hard to really say how many laps these guys have on their tires and what the difference is, because that's a nice desktop background there, Peter. But we're getting ready to go back green here. And Jason Freeman, in my opinion, has looked like the truck to beat as far as strategy goes so far. But I'm not counting a lot of these guys out who have showed speed, such as the 99 of Philip Scott, amongst others. A lot of these guys have had time to fix damage, figure out the racetrack. Bill Edwards is in play. Another S2R teammates up there as well. Anything can happen here, everyone. Let's stand with us. I just hope we can do it under green.
Yeah, hopefully we can see out the rest of this race under green flag conditions. 65 laps to go when we go back green. You're looking at your front 2 trucks right there. Jamar Dumas in the Pittsburgh Penguin Chevy Silverado, and the Mason Dixon Cornhole number 20 of Jason Freeman is your race leader. Just looking for any lane changes. Looks like it was okay that time, with the number 20 of Jason Freeman getting us back under the green flag. Philip Scott, however, is going to follow his way up into second in the number 99. And remember, Garrett, that number 99 was up at the front of the field at the beginning of the race. Finally working his way up into the top 2. Big wiggle out of Bob Giaquinto back there in the Polyhedral Cathedral Chevy. He's going to lose a couple spots here. Looks like Lorello Maher, Himmelman. Here comes Brian Bradley to the outside. Ben Adams, who got the lucky dog I think 1 or 2 cautions ago now, and the number 5 looking to the outside of the 23.
Good recovery for Ben Adams. Good recovery for Andrew Himmelman there too. Peter both taking advantage of those lucky dogs and getting themselves back in contention here. We love those lucky dogs. Good opportunity when your race doesn't go the way you planned to get back at it. So we also have a good battle here between Bill Edwards and Jamar Dumas. Jamar restarted in second here and is trying to hold on to some track position.
Yep, this is the battle for the 3rd position. Bill Edwards going to take it away from Dumas. Oh, man, very tight between the driver of the number 50 and the number 28. Edwards really needs to not do anything risky here, because Garrett, you can be looking at a big points haul at the end of the night. Jamar Dumas in the number 28, now in front of Kevin Stone. Stone running inside the top 5, has had a strong run all night long, qualified in 6th, now running in 5th. He's right in front of James Zarello, Tristan Maher, Andrew Himmelman, and a little bit further back, Ben Adams and Brian Bradley rounding out our top 10. But was that Kevin Stone looking to the inside of Jamar Dumas? Yes, it was. Here comes that number 77. That Desert Hobbies on the back of that Chevrolet. And uh-oh, Jason Freeman is in the outside wall. Your race leader is potentially Dunn. What happened here to Freeman?
Well, to use one of Jason Freeman's famous terms, I think he may have stepped on it. That's usually what he says, but we'll look at, see if the 99 had anything to do with this. And nope, Freeman saw the 99 coming and just ended up getting loose there, Peter.
My, oh my, we've seen that happen to 3 or 4 drivers here tonight. It seems like kind of sounding like a broken record here at this stage of the race, Garrett. Drivers losing control of their car, whether it's the apron on the bottom side of the racetrack or turn number 3, which appears to really be the trouble spot. I mean, we saw that happen to Jason Gracias, and he absolutely clobbered his car there, and I want to say at least a couple of other drivers earlier in the show lost it there in turn number 3. So that's a big hit, though, because Jason Freeman was your race leader as Steve Bavacqua in his machine gets one of his laps back, and in fact gets, I think, his last lap back. Yeah, I think he's now back on the lead lap. How about that? Been a long time coming for Steve Bavacqua, but he's finally back on the lead lap. Vincent Valvano is 1 lap down, and Fernando Matos a lap down now. So he could potentially have 17 trucks on the lead lap in a little bit if we get some more caution flags coming out here on 3 Wide TV. But just now about to reach the lap 125 threshold. And Garrett, I'd be curious to know what the caution count is here tonight. We don't have something that keeps track of that here on 3 Wide TV yet. Maybe in next year's graphic package, but it has definitely been a decent percentage of the race here tonight. Probably 25 to 30% of the race under caution.
Yeah, Peter, I'm definitely not smart enough to count numbers that high. I wasn't able to graduate college, but for sure it's definitely been a high percentage of the race, and it's probably about as high as my blood pressure is right now watching this, buddy. But these guys are doing their best out there, Peter, and they're putting on a good show. And right now, I have to go into a little bit of a speech about this 99 of Philip Scott. We've been on 3Y TV here week after week rooting for Philip Scott to finally pull it off. He's been close. He's beat himself. Other people have beat him. Tonight, everything's pretty much gone right for the 99 of Philip Scott. So I hope he has some positivity, some positive voices in his ear, keeping him calm out there and keeping him focused so he could pull this off and maybe give us something to be celebratory of after this rough race.
Yeah, we will find out. iRacing pace car lights have turned off. We'll be going green here on lap number 127 of 180. So we're closing in on that 50 lap to go mark. And one thing I've noticed about that number 99, Garrett, no damage on that truck at all. Green flag back in the air, and he has already got a good jump on Bill Edwards, who's slotted into second. The number 13 of James Zarello into third. Meanwhile, back behind them, Ben Adams looking to the inside of Tristan Maher. They're going to give each other a little bit of room to race with one another. That's good to see. Meanwhile, Bob Giaquinto back there with John Canizaro Jr. Looks like Canizaro going to get underneath that number 23, but here comes Giaquinto. I thought he was going to try and do the over-under there. Does not look like it. Back behind them, Jamar Dumas, who finally, I think, just came down pit road. He lost all that track position, now getting past the number 60 of Brian Bradley. Moved him up to the 10th spot in his Pittsburgh Penguins machine.
So yeah, some good battles here, Peter, for sure. I also thought Bob Giaquinto was going to take a look under John Canizaro there, but we were looking at a bunch of those guys, Ben Adams, Tristan Maher, Stone, Andrew Himmelman. They're like the bad luck boys. Every week they seem to be involved in some sort of mess, so it's good to see them battling for 5th position, 4th position, and so on.
On board with Bill Edwards heading down the front stretch, looking at your race leader, the number 99 of Philip Scott. And Garrett, no one had anything for Philip Scott earlier in the race when he was in the race lead. You think we're going to see the same thing here?
It certainly doesn't look like it, Peter. It looks like Bill Edwards has plenty of pace in that number 50 machine, and his teammate James Lorello as well. I wouldn't put it past these guys, but Philip Scott needs to maintain his consistent pace out there and keep doing his best as we're taking a nice cycle through the field. And I was just curious on Bill Edwards' driver picture. Was that taken with one of the first cameras invented, and why wasn't it in black and white, Peter?
I don't know. I believe it was colorized circa 1907. I think that's, if you look at that picture, I think it's a colorized picture from 1907. So someone has done some fancy magic in Photoshop to colorize it. But Bill Edwards running in second right now. Here is Tristan Maher running in 7th. There's Jamar Dumas, who's worked his way up to 8th now. He's on fresher tires. That could pay dividends for him going forward. John Cannizzaro here, and Jason Freeman is actually looking underneath that number 12. So Jason Freeman, who just spun from the race lead a little while ago to bring out that last caution, he's back inside the top 10. So kind of a fall from grace a little bit. Now he's going to have to run him down and see if he can salvage a top 5, if that's at all possible, as we are now down to just 45 laps to go this time. Oh, what's happened to Ben Adams? Adams is off the pace here, Garrett, and looks to be without power on the inside of the racetrack. Caution flag comes out.
Well, Ben's wife just said it was almost time for bed in our chat. Perhaps he got called, but I don't think that's going to be the case, Peter. Let's see what this replay has to say here about the number 5 of Ben Adams, who's continuing a string of bad luck here in the Total Nonstop Racing League.
Oh, just, and I don't know what happened there, Garrett. Look, you can see the RPM's dropping. Don't think it was a blown motor. Just kind of jumped off the racetrack in a hurry. Hope everything is okay, and that there's nothing too major that just came up. But watch the number 5. He just blown motor. You saw it right there. A couple of puffs of smoke out the back of the number 5, and that was enough to kill the number 5 truck for the night. Ben Adams, his night is done. Unfortunately, let's go back live scenes right now. We do have a couple of thought we were going to have a couple takers. We did not have any takers on pit road, but Bob Giaquinto, who will take on a fresh set of Goodyear boots and head back out there onto the racetrack here in just a moment. I wonder if there was a lot of faking going on to get to pit road there, Garrett, because it sure looked like there was going to be a lot of trucks on pit road. Let's see if Philip Scott decided to fake out the field here, or whether or not, nope. And then he said nope. And then James Zorello did the same thing, and then a couple of the trucks back behind them all did the same thing. A little bit of trickery going on here late.
Yeah, these guys playing the game here, seeing who wants to come in for a set of tires and who doesn't. Looks like the leader is elected for track position, Peter, and man, just such a shame. Ben Adams blowing his motor, bringing out that yellow. I mean, when guys blow motors, you hope they can roll it back around and not bring out the yellow, but Ben must have thought he wouldn't be able to. That's just a rough caution for everyone there, Peter. You just start getting into the groove here. Laps are winding down. You don't expect to see a motor blown, especially for a truck running as well as the number 5 was at that point in time.
Stay tuned Sports in the chat asking whether or not there is a time limit for the race, and based off of what I'm seeing, Stay Tuned Sports, the time limit, even though there is a time limit, that is true, does not appear we're going to run into the time limitation for this race here tonight. So, we have seen that before here on 3Wide TV, but looks like this race has enough time that it will only finish with the lap counter, barring ridiculous circumstances, which could potentially happen. But right now, Philip Scott hoping to see out the final 40 laps and take home the win here at Nashville because, sorry about that, folks, bringing up my desktop again as I try and sort out all my different windows. I was just looking to see whether or not Philip Scott has actually won a race so far this season. He has not won a race so far this season in this particular series, and only has 2 top 10s in 6 starts. It has not been a good season for Philip Scott. Best finish of 8 at Darlington, where he started in 3rd. So Philip Scott here really going to try and do all he can to see out this one and get the checkered flag, as we are back to green flag. As there you go, you see there's 2 hours and 54 minutes left. We got plenty of time. And something just happened to Bill Edwards there. He's going to drop back through the field, Garrett. He almost got turned around up the front of the field.
Oh, Bill Edwards needing to have that just consistent run, keep his points lead, and doesn't want to be involved in anything here. Peter, let's take a look at this replay and see what got the 50 out of sorts here as we went back green.
Yeah, watch the number 50. Got his teammate, James Lorello, right back behind him. Lorello just goes straight into the back of Edwards, and Edwards did a stellar job of saving that number 50 machine. The bad news is he's fallen all the way back to 9th position. So that is not good news for Bill Edwards, as he fell from 2nd back to 9th in an absolute hurry. Meanwhile, for Philip Scott, that is great news, because he is clear up at the front of the field. Kevin Stone now up into 2nd. James Arello has moved up into 3rd in his number 13 machine. And then look at this big gaggle of trucks right back here, as Edwards trying to look underneath Jamar Dumas. We know that Edwards will probably be a little hot and heavy underneath that helmet. But, man, he's all the way back to the 7th spot as they run right now. And look at Andrew Himmelman racing with Steve Bavacqua, who was multiple laps down earlier in the show. And just going back to that point that you said there, Garrett, about Tammy Himmelman saying that it was close to bedtime, I think maybe Ben Adams didn't get the memo, but the engine definitely got the memo.
That sounds a little bit greasy. I hope she has some extra sheets handy, Peter. I don't know how that's going to work out for her, but tough break for Ben. But at least they could go get to bed here at a reasonable time, which is more than we can say about you and I. Especially if Philip Scott wins this race, it's definitely going to go long. And just to go back to Bill Edwards, the last time I saw him this upset was when his pet woolly mammoth died, and was the final one before they went extinct, Peter.
That's so sad. Bill's going to probably watch this broadcast and probably be brought to tears at the memory of his woolly mammoth that he had once upon a time. Jason Freeman, though, racing with the number 13 of Lorello. Lorello holding on to the 3rd spot, at least for now. Remember, Freeman was your race leader when he lost control of his truck a little while ago. Here comes Edward trying to get around Jamar Dumas. This would put Bill back up to 6th spot. Racing now in memory of the woolly mammoth that he once owned. And might just take this spot here from Dumas, but Dumas not giving it up too quickly, as we're down to just 30 laps to go. Dumas holding on there very well. Steve Bavacqua, on the other hand, is continuing his charge up through the field. Miraculous recovery. He's on the back of John Cannizzaro Jr., and I expected Cannizzaro to really enjoy this racetrack, and I expected this to kind of suit his driving style here tonight, Garrett. Of course, he just got this racetrack before the drop of the green flag, so he didn't really have any practice, but definitely kind of been in and around the 10th position all night long.
Yeah, Peter, we joke about John Cannizzaro a lot, but he's very talented, and it's shocking to see him running so far back in the field. Don't know if he got a lot of damage on one of those early incidents that is holding him back a little bit, but you know who's not being held back tonight? That's the 99 of Philip Scott, as we're looking out the back of the 99 machine at the number 77 of Kevin Stone, who's also having a good run, but under some pressure here from James Lorello.
Yep. James Lorello right on the back of the number 77 of Kevin Stone. Trying to battle it out for the 2nd spot as the lap count winds down. Just 26 laps to go as they go across the start-finish line. Cannizzaro running that Tone Mater scheme. Just got to be patient here, Garrett. He ran down Kevin Stone. Just has to look for that opportunity. They're both in the wall. This might be the opportunity. as Lorello dives to the inside and looks like he will complete that pass. And now Jason Freeman is all over the back bumper of Kevin Stone. Stone now looking back to the inside of James Dorello as they go through turn number 1 and 2. But as you can see, as they hit those bumps, Garrett, the 77 got a little bit tight and washed up the racetrack. And now here comes the number 20 of Freeman, as Freeman gets loose again through turn number 3 and 4, this time able to save it.
Good job by Freeman saving it. I got nervous there, Peter. I do not want to see the 77 caught up in any incidents. Let's get him a top 5 and get him out of here, and hopefully start many good runs, as Freeman ended up saving his truck and is now under pressure from Bill Edwards. And out back behind them, I saw a good battle between the 98 and 28 as well.
Yeah, good battle going on a little bit further back. It looks like Jamar Dumas holding on to the spot between him and Maher there. Do want to make note that, sure enough, Vincent Galvano is back in the lead lap in the 12th position. We saw him running up there inside the top 3 a little while ago. But the number 38 is back on the lead lap. Meanwhile, Bill Edwards has run down Jason Freeman. This is the battle for the 4th position, as Edwards continuing that spirited charge up towards the front of the field again. Edwards now to the inside of the number 20. No, looks like Freeman is gonna hold on. No, here comes Edwards back as they kind of yo-yo back and forth. There'll be 20 more laps to go this time by.
Once upon a time, Peter, in a league far, far away from our own, there was a little bit of a battle between, well, there's a battle. I'll come back to that story later. We have Steve Bavacqua, Bob Giaquinto, and Andrew Himmelman getting caught up in it. Those guys were battling very hard for that position, and it looks like the patience has run out.
So I think you're going to have to kind of go back on this one a little bit. Not hit the pause tape, but hit the play button. There we go. But coming out of the corner here, looks like the Bavacqua got loose. You can see right there, he got loose and then washed down the racetrack a little bit. And then as they went off into turn number 3 and 4, Bavacqua must have missed his braking point, just didn't have his brake marker with the number 23 of Bob Giaquinto to his outside, and unfortunately gets into the number 23. And as you can see, the 23, the 36, and the 8 all coming together. Not good. Oh, then Jason Shue there coming in a little bit late to give a little bit of a tag to that number 23 machine. Let's go on board here with Andrew Himmelman and see what he saw out front of the number 8 Sim Shots machine. There goes the number 36 to the inside, and just boink, boink, nowhere for Himmelman to go. Absolutely nowhere for Himmelman to go in that incident, and unfortunately, that was the best battle on position, battle for position out there on the racetrack. Let's go on board now with the Steve Bavacqua and see the number 36. He gets loose out of the corner right there, saves it, and then you see he was still trying to save the truck a little bit there, Garrett, and I think he kind of got behind the race truck a little bit. If that term makes any sense, kind of got behind the race truck and trying to save it, and by the time he kind of had all 4 wheels back underneath it, he had to have braked a little bit sooner, because look, he's going straight right now. You can see he's still counter steering right now because he's going up near the wall. This is about where you want to brake, right there, and I think he just left it a little bit too late, came up the racetrack into the side of Giaquinto, and the number 23 Polyhedral Cathedral machine ends up in the wall. But that will set us up for a late race dash here, as surprisingly, some of our leaders have elected to come down pit road, and it's given the race lead to James Lorello. What a shocker here. Philip Scott came down pit road. He's going to restart in the 4th position or so. Kevin Stone in the number 77 also came down pit road. Your top 3, Lorello, Freeman, Cannizzaro, all stayed out. And Garrett, how many times have we seen late in the race a couple of drivers on old tires stay out and end up causing a big accident? That's something, if I'm Philip Scott, I have to be extremely mindful of. In fact, any of the drivers on fresh tires, you have to be mindful that these drivers in front of you, they are not going to be fast on those old tires.
Absolutely correct, Peter, and we've seen the differing strategies all night long, and this is probably the most drastic gap on tires we've had so far. And for Philip Scott, patience is going to be key. You have to expect, starting in the 2nd row, that somebody is going to have some wheel spin. Somebody is going to have an issue. There are enough laps here, and you have fresh enough tires to win this race if you do not beat yourself. But Peter, those other guys who stayed out, you can't blame them either. They're taking a chance based on track position. A bunch of yellows come out here. They might be able to sneak a win out of this. With the night Freeman had with the spin and James Lorello with being involved in a couple incidents, hey, roll the dice. Take the chance at it. A win's a win.
Well, a 14-lap late model sprint to the finish is what we're essentially going to have here tonight in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Monday Night Thunder Truck Series. Here comes the number 13, James Lorello, bringing him down nice and slow. Green flag waves, fresh tires on the number 99 of Philip Scott. To the outside of Jason Freeman. Freeman, his tires are just about 40 laps old at this point. Philip Scott, I think he's going to use that higher line, use the fresher tires, and see if he can get just power around the outside of the number 20. Not able to do so yet. Right now, Freeman holding on to second for dear life with James Lorello and number 13 in front of him. Meanwhile, there's side-by-side action, and got to see one truck going around on the backstretch. That's Jamar Dumas and the number 38 of Vincent Valvano.
Peter, we were shaping up for a heck of a battle there. We had a good battle between the 99 and the 20 going on there. Now Philip's going to get the start in the inside lane, but let's see what happened to bring out this yellow. Boy, we're certainly getting our use out of this replay system tonight. Stack up a little bit in front, start chain reaction. Jamar Dumas is the unlucky one in that, and looks like Vincent Valvano also caught up in it. Not of his doing there, Peter. That's one of those short track chain reaction deals from my perspective.
Yep, and Tristan Maher just coming down the racetrack right there, cuts off the nose of Dumas. Dumas checks up because of it and gets run over from behind, and just an accordion effect here at Nashville Fairgrounds with under 15 laps to go. We will have to re-rack them and do them all again. Dumas, who has had a strong night in his Pittsburgh Penguins number 28 machine, unfortunately down on pit road. Vincent Valvano there up at the top of your screen as well, also coming to his pit box. But Garrett, interestingly enough, Lorello, not only was he able to hold on to the lead, Jason Freeman also able to hold on for second as Fernando Matos gets the lucky dog under this caution flag. But Fernando Matos, the 13th truck on the lead lap. 14th truck on the lead lap. Jamar Dumas will be the 14th truck. So good job by Fernando Matos sticking it out. Here, maybe he can pick up some more spots. We could see some late race antics up near the front. Unfortunately, not been a good night for the driver of the number 97. If you're just now joining us, Mike Floppy Tellier started on the pole in his number 97, but elected to drop to the tail end of the field before the green flag fell to participate in the Butt Kicker Challenge. Of course, thebuttkicker.com Black Friday sales going on right now, 15% off the entire store. If you want to check out Butt Kicker, you have a sim rig or something like that, and you want to elevate your game, Butt Kicker is the place to go to increase the immersion. I've heard that having VR with the Butt Kicker, unbelievable. I would love to have that. Maybe one day I'll be able to get one of those, but Mike Floppy Tellier involved in an accident, unable to butt kick the field. Instead, he got butt kicked here tonight by participating in that Butt Kicker Challenge. But you got to go for it, Garrett. You got to go for it. Extra money on the line, courtesy of our friends over at Butt Kicker. And if you don't do it, no one will. Tellier was brave here tonight at this short track, and unfortunately his night did not go to plan. He's just trying to pick up the scraps here tonight.
Yeah, Peter, that's exactly right. And we appreciate guys taking the Butt Kicker Challenge. It doesn't work out a lot of the time, but it certainly gives us something to look forward to, and it makes the sponsor happy. And we're so grateful for Butt Kicker and their involvement here in this Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series. But Peter, I wanted to go back to this restart here. Freeman was able to keep in second place, which actually might benefit Philip Scott. Didn't seem like he could make the pass from the outside lane. Now he gets to start on the inside. We'll see how quickly he makes this 3 wide for the lead.
And green flag waves. We're coming to just 7 laps to go as we go across the start-finish line. As the number 13 of James Zarello now under fire from Jason Freeman. Freeman with a great restart here, Garrett. And the number 20, there's contact between the 20 and the 13. Lorello goes up the racetrack, and Jason Freeman is your race leader. Here comes the number 99 of Philip Scott. He's now up into second in his Ford F-150. What can he do? 6 more laps to go, and now he's all over the back bumper of the number 20 machine, looking to the inside. Battle for the race lead. The 99 pushes up the racetrack. There's contact. There's contact, and Jason Freeman's in the wall. Caution is out.
Peter, I missed here. I'm scratching my head, buddy, because at that, like, the 99 was probably going to win this race on speed. 20 had to do everything he could to keep him pinched down, but you knew Philip was not going to ease out of it by any means. He was going for that lead. He wanted it then, and that's going to be what we're going to see here on the replay. He gets in there really low, tries to take advantage of the racetrack that Freeman gave him here, and he's just going to push up into the 20, I believe, Peter, but you could take over from here.
Well, you saw that the number 99 got below that yellow line, and there might have been a little bit of net code there. I'm sure, there's just not a lot of give and take at this point of the race. And you added the bumps, and I don't think netcode does great with bumps, to be honest with you. You got another look at it right here. You see the 99 of Philip Scott. He's all the way down below that yellow line. Had he not gone below the yellow line, would he have pushed up the racetrack as much? But there's definite space between those two trucks. And I think iRacing netcode just tags the number 20, which is really unfortunate. And I understand that at this point of the race, you don't want to give any type of room. Let's see if we can get a look at it from this view here for everyone at home to watch. I'm hoping to kind of see a shot that shows the gap at the time of contact. And let's see right there's the contact. I don't know if we have a better view, unfortunately. Let's see. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's a good view. Let's just roll the tape just a little bit more. Right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's net code. Yeah, they're tight. Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of have to respect the racetrack and the bumps, and to a certain, hopefully lesser extent, iRacing. But in that certain situation, I think that's kind of on iRacing. Two trucks racing really hard at the end of the race. Those are ones that you kind of hate to call. Could Philip Scott not hit the yellow line? Yes. I think that pushed him up the racetrack. Could Jason Freeman have given a little bit more room? Yes. Could iRacing have worked better? Yes. There's a lot in that unfortunately, Jason Freeman's the one ending up on the bad end of the stick, and Philip Scott, I know he's going to be disappointed because I'm sure he didn't want to make contact, but we are going to have a 2-lap shootout here upcoming.
Yeah, 2-lap shootout, Peter. The 99, you just have to regroup here. It's unfortunate what happened. You guys were both going for it. Freeman's not going to be happy, and that's understandable too. But it was go time, and we kind of sensed it would happen. But Philip Scott might have some damage from that, Peter. Don't know if netcode, if he got any type of X. We have an X system in iRacing. 2X is like minor damage, 4X is major damage. I'm assuming he might at most have a 2X. But these guys, Bill Edwards, James Lorello, Stone, they're all in this, Peter. We'll see what happens as we go back green here. It's time to go.
Green flag is out. Philip Scott, great restart for him. Meanwhile, back behind them, Kevin Stone gets pushed up the racetrack by James Lorello. They're racing hard for the third position. Kevin Stone holding on that high line. You're not missing anything out front. Philip Scott is clear of the number 50 of Bill Edwards. Stone, big push coming out of turn number 4. He's going to relinquish the third spot to Lorello. Now he's got the number 98 of Tristan Maher all over his back bumper, but does anything? Oh no, Lorello to the inside wall. He spins up the racetrack, and Philip Scott's in the wall. Philip Scott's in the wall, and Bill Edwards is going to come around and win. Somehow, what on earth just happened? The 50 wins at Nashville.
Well, Peter, I can't wait to see this replay because I was looking at the 50 closing in on the 99 when we were watching that battle for third and fourth. I didn't think Bill was going to be able to make the pass here, so let's see what happened here on a 3-wide TV replay as soon as we dial it up, and I'll talk to kill time until that happens. So, oh, here we go, Peter. We have Bill Edwards here. It looks like we're going to be making a run here down the, I believe that's the backstretch heading towards turn 3, and I'll let you handle it.
Yeah, you see Philip Scott got into the wall, came down the racetrack, and the 50 was there, and the 50 wasn't going to lift, and the 50 just went straight into the back of the number 99 machine. Maybe, said, okay, buddy, if you're going to block like that, I'm just going to put you in the wall. I'm not exactly sure, but that's what decided the race. And then Tristan Maher in the number 98 machine there on the right-hand side of your screen starts to go around. Not sure what on earth happened in all this mess. There's right back there, Maher going around. Himmelman sneaks away with a third place finish in all of this madness. But I think we're going to have to kind of go back to this pass for the win one more time, because holy cow, what a crazy finish here tonight.
Crazy finish indeed, Peter. What a win for Bill Edwards. I'm sure he did not want to win by moving the 99, one of our fan favorites, out of the way, but Philip gave him the opportunity to capitalize by hitting that wall, and you can't lift here coming to the checkered flag. I mean, no race car driver or race truck driver in this instance in their right mind is going to lift, and Philip was doing what he thought he had to do. I imagine if he stayed in that second lane, he would have had a run off the corner and maybe could have had a drag race to the finish, but he went for the block and he paid for it.
Let's see what also happened to the number 13 of James Lorello. Lorello coming off of turn number 2 right there, smacks into the inside wall, goes up the racetrack. Jason Freeman clobbers him. Freeman gets clobbered again by Stephen Kegman. They were just like a bunch of ping pong balls on the final lap here tonight. If there's anything to sum up how this race went, I think that's more or less this race in a nutshell. Let's go on board here with Brian Bradley and see what he saw of this last lap. There goes Lorello on your left side of your screen. Then he gets hit right there. Then that causes him to lose control. And then he tries to save it, but then ends up going back up the racetrack because he saw he was going to go to the side of Tristan Maher. Just chaos all over the track.
Yeah, certainly not one we're going to put in our highlight film for this truck season, Peter. A rough race from a caution perspective, but a lot of excitement there on the last lap, and no one's as excited as the number 50 of Bill Edwards, who is now creeping out there. He probably fell asleep at the wheel. It is probably past his bedtime, but good win for Bill. I'm glad we can move on from this one to a fun track in Homestead. But I saw a couple names in the top 10, Peter. I saw Fernando Matos sneak in there, our very own Bob Giaquinto sneak in there, and Stephen Kegman as well. So some good recoveries for those guys.
Yeah, some people sneaking away with some good finishes at the end of the night. That is for sure. Let's see if we can get some post-race interviews with some top 3 finishers. Definitely going to be interesting to see what they have to say after this madness here tonight. Garrett, why don't you take it away with tonight's third-place finisher, Andrew Himmelman?
Hey, Andrew, it's Garrett. It's nice to finally be able to talk to you in one of these truck races. I feel like it's been forever, but yeah, a little bit of a rough start to your night. Ended up getting in an accident, going a lap down. You ended up getting the lucky dog and back on the lead lap and wound up with a third-place finish. Tell us a little bit about your night.
Well, mine consisted of colliding with cars left and right, even teammates. I was quite the enemy for a teammate, so how I'd finished that, I even finished the race, I don't really know. So the third place was quite luck, if you ask me.
Well, sometimes we could all use a little bit of luck there, buddy. You haven't had the truck season a lot of us were expecting. We expected you to be contending for wins on a weekly basis. It certainly hasn't been that so far. But we're headed to Homestead next week. Certainly a track I know you two run well at. What are your thoughts there?
I don't really like Homestead. I've never been able to get around it very well. The only car I can is the Cup, and I haven't done it in a while. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. Is that the finale? I can't remember, but yeah, it should be fun. We'll see what happens there.
Well, it better be the finale because that's what Peter and I have been talking about all night. But we've been wrong
I
before.
think it is.
But you threw me off my line of questioning. Oh, so many people probably don't know in the chat. Yeah, you're still a very young man, but you're also a very successful and smart young man. You founded SimShots, and why we have the opportunity to talk to you was tell us a little bit about your business and how it's going and what you're up to.
Um, we take screenshots on iRacing. We put them in Photoshop and edit them up to where they look like real life photos. I don't think you could really tell a difference from real life to those. It's going pretty well. School's kind of got me busy right now, but we're open at any time.
Well, Andrew, congratulations on your third place finish. We look forward to you having a good run next week. Any shout outs? I'm sure your mom wants to hear her name mentioned for all that she does for us in the chat.
Yeah, my family for watching, my granddad, my mom, you guys, and all the guys that put this on.
All right, thanks, Andrew. We'll see you next week. I believe Peter Short is caught up with our second place finisher. Who the heck is it, Peter?
Well, our second place finisher here tonight is Kevin Stone, and we are just trying to get Kevin Stone up here into the 3 Wide TV booth. Kevin Stone, Peter Short, 3 Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Peter.
Well, I tell you what, it seems like here in the Total Nonstop Racing League, you've been thrown around so many times. But here tonight, things kind of going your way with everyone playing ping pong with everyone else, and the 77 truck kind of keeping clean there at the end of the race. Kind of talk us through the night because it was wild out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, it sure was a wild one. At the beginning there, had to dodge a couple wrecks starting up front. Didn't expect that, but there were some spinners early on, and then there chaos at the end with Lorello going around on the last lap, coming off of 2, and then Edwards and Scott getting into it in 3 and 4. I thought I had really done a bad job on my last 2 restarts. I just didn't get off good, and I thought that was going to be the key for me, starting on the outside there at the end and trying to get our work way up at the podium, but it didn't do it there, but everything turned out good.
Yeah, definitely things hopefully turning for the better with your luck here in the TNR series. Next week, we go to Homestead, Miami. What are your thoughts about going to that 1.5 mile racetrack to round out the Monday Night Thunder series?
I like Homestead. It's hit or miss for me. Sometimes I can get it. It's one of those tracks you got to conserve tires and do your best at just being there at the end. Hopefully we'll give them a good show next week.
That's for sure. I know you got some sponsors you want to give a shout out to here on 3 Wide TV, so let's hear them.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to thank RS Customs Paint, Desert Hobbies, and Famucci Wear for coming on board. Want to thank Stay Tuned Sports Podcast for doing the Monday Night Thunder Truck Series, and Signarama for joining on for this race tonight, and you guys up in the booth and 3 Wide TV. TNR, they do a great job. All the admins over there, Garrett, Ben here in this series, great job.
Absolutely. Well, Kevin, congratulations on your second place finish here tonight, and hopefully we get to talk to you soon if your good luck continues. Best of luck.
Thanks.
All right, that's going to do it with our second place finisher, and now we'll see if we can see what Bill Edwards has to say here at the end of the night. Garrett, I believe you caught up with Bill.
Well, Peter, I'm standing here in Victory Lane with Bill Edwards. I beat up a couple security guards to get to him. He didn't really want to talk to me. But Bill Edwards, we talked about earlier in the night that you just need to have a consistent run here tonight, get out with a good finish, preserve your points lead. And here we are standing in Victory Lane. How the hell did this happen?
I definitely didn't expect it. I thought I might be quick. I thought I was pretty good on the long run. We were doing tire, checking our tire wear in practice. And my tire wear was pretty good. So I thought I had a decent chance if it went green, but it was a lot of yellows, so I definitely didn't expect to be up front at the end with all those yellows, but it worked out.
It certainly did work out, Bill, and Peter and I talked about during the... Well, it was mostly me. I'm not going to throw Peter under the bus. I talked about you racing with a heavy heart tonight because of your pet woolly mammoth that passed away back in the day, and I'm glad you were able to win this race for the memory out there, but Going back to all the yellows, what seemed to be the issue with this racetrack? Was it the track and the bumps? Was it the setup? Obviously, you were able to conquer the racetrack, but just for those in the chat and those of us who don't know what was going on out there.
If you exited too low, it got real bumpy. So it really wanted to bring the rear end around. But for the most part, I think I didn't see a lot of the wrecks. I know in practice, a lot of wrecks were just overdriving. So you can overdrive, and if you just push it just a touch too much, you can hit the wall and bounce off. You can spin the back tires if you take it out, if you exit too low. So it's kind of a 1-lane track almost. Just the way it forces you to exit in the lower to mid groove. So, but it's definitely a challenge, that's for sure. But the setup was great, and everybody I was racing around was racing pretty clean, except for my teammate who gave me a little punt when I went in too slow. I did get into Phillip at the end there, and I was already kind of just counting my chickens that I was getting second. He had the high line. Everybody that I passed, it would take 3-4 laps to pass him on the inside. So I thought he had it. He kind of come up on my nose a little bit. I'm not really sure why, if he was trying to block or what, but there was no way I was going to pass him in one lap. But I think he got a little angry, but I had nowhere to go. So, but he ran a heck of a race. It's so unfortunate to see him end it like that, but I will take the win.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd take the win any way you could get it, and it was a heartbreaker for the 99. And we know you're not out here racing anyone particularly dirty, unless it's me. But going into Homestead next week, Bill, you are the favorite for our championship. I would say you're going to head in there as the points leader. What's your strategy, and what do you think of Homestead?
Same thing. I love Homestead. It's a great track. It's a lot of fun with these trucks. There's a lot of tire saving and strategy that can go. I mean, it's just all around great track. So looking forward to it. I just hope I pull off a decent finish. I'm going to bring my cane. If I see you near me, you're going to get beat with the cane, but I'll throw my teeth at you when I drive by.
Well, joke's on you, Bill. It wouldn't be the first time I was beaten with a cane by an elderly person, but we'll leave that go. And just wanted to say congratulations on your win, and any shout outs you'd like to give. We always appreciate having you up here in the booth. You're a great time. So congratulations, buddy. And the floor is yours.
Yep. I gotta give a shout out to TNR for putting all this fun stuff on. Stay tuned, sports. You guys up in the booth. All my S2R teammates. I know we brought Mike on board. He's been a blast to have. I gotta say hi to my mom, my girlfriend, all my fans watching. And let's one more week. Let's go get them.
Well, good luck, Bill. We'll see you next week. And if your car breaks down, you can't make it to the racetrack, there's no shame in taking a provisional. But we'll see you.
I'll give it a thought.
All right, well, folks, that's going to do it with our race-winning interview. Unfortunately, our graphics package has decided to die again. iRacing just released an update a couple of weeks ago, and it just really has not done well. And we're going to have to work on that over the off-season here upcoming. But we are going to go through tonight's final finishing race results. Bill Edwards going to take home the win in the number 50 machine. Kevin Stone going to finish in second. Andrew Hibbelman going to finish in third here tonight in the number 8 machine. It did not look like that was going to be the case. Philip Scott, who led coming to the white flag, going to finish in the 4th spot after coming down the racetrack and blocking the number 50. And I don't think, they probably, Bill Edwards probably didn't take too kind to being blocked like that on the last lap. Did not wreck the number 99, just kind of sent him back to 4th spot. John Cannizzaro going to finish in 5th here tonight. Jamar Dumas going to come home 6th. Bob Giaquinto, 3YTV's own in the 23, going to finish in 7th. Fernando Matos, great recovery for him to finish in 8th. Stephen Kegman going to finish in 9th. Tristan Maher, the number 98, finishes in 10th. 11th spot for Steve Bavacqua. James Orello finishing in 12th. He's going to be disappointed with that tonight. Brian Bradley, 13th. Jason Freeman in 14th. He's also going to be bitterly disappointed with that final race result. Vincent Valvano, the first truck to really not complete the majority of the laps here tonight. At least, well, he did complete the majority of the laps. What am I saying? But he finished 14 laps down in 15th. Jason Shue 20 laps down in 16th. Mike Floppy Tellier 25 laps down 17th. He was our butt kicker challenge driver, and unfortunately, things not going so well, getting his butt kicked here tonight. Ben Adams gonna finish in 18th, 46 laps down with a blown motor. Johnny Williams 19th, 96 laps down. Jason Gracias 20th, 129 laps down. Nick Chambrone 21st, 137 laps down. John Boris 148 laps down in 22nd. Kyle Zimmer 150 laps down in 23rd. 23 trucks took the start here tonight at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Biggest mover of the race was driver of the number 22, Stephen Kegman, for all you people wondering back at home. But Garrett, only one race left next week here on 3 Wide TV. But wow, Bill Edwards, Signarama 125 winner here tonight.
Yeah, great win for Bill Edwards. Not a great race for the Total Nonstop Racing League, unfortunately, Peter. A lot of yellows out there, but I look forward to a chance to redeem ourselves next week at Homestead, and I appreciate everyone for sticking with us. Our sponsor, Stay Tuned Sports, and I enjoyed myself another broadcast here on 3 Wide TV with the best in the business, Peter Short.
Well, we really do appreciate all of you in the chat. You are the best chat in the business, that's for sure. Thanks for tuning in here on 3 Wide TV here tonight. Next week, same time, same place, we are going to Homestead, Miami to round out the season here. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Big shout out to Signarama for sponsoring tonight's race. Link in the description. Stay tuned sports podcast as well as thebuttkicker.com. Don't forget Black Friday sales. If you have not done it already, check out thebuttkicker.com and look at that the sweet 15% off that you can get in the run up to the holidays. That'd be a great gift, just saying, for that special sim racer in your life and or yourself. If you are the special sim racer in your life, I tell you what, I'm the special sim racer in my life. But, you know, just something to check out at thebuttkicker.com. But thanks again for everyone joining us. Stay safe and all that good stuff, and we'll see you again next week here on 3 Wide TV. See ya!